morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I told them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the gang. I told them this ain't a game.
Oh, what's good? It's Phins Take with CB83A coming to you for another banger. You already know what time it is, guys. We got a lot to talk about today. A couple press conferences went down, actually more than a couple. And you got Tyreek Hill, you got Tua Tagovailoa, you got McDaniel, you got Connor Williams. A lot of guys got to the podium today and got an opportunity to speak about the offseason, about some of the incidents that went down. It's going to be great for us to be able to just cover that, get to it, talk a little Miami Dolphins. The guys got back on the field today, and they were ready to go. Little back and forth, little competition, little iron sharpens iron out there. Love to see it. Some plays being made, right? Some plays being made. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm going to do the quick rundown. And then we're going to get straight to the news because, I want to be able to give you guys this camp coverage, not keep it too long, but keep it fun, keep it funky, and have a good time, man. Shout out to the homie Raul P, who's in the building. He says Tua Leroy equals QB1 equals Phins Tribal Chief. Yes, sir. Hey, with the sleeve tat, sleeved up, tatted. You already know what time it is. That boy coming with it this year. He doing something different, man. I don't know if y'all ready, but we bringing the energy. You already know how we get down over here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That boy Desi Banks. So, hey, we're going up for another one. Shout out to the members gang. My man Raul P is in the members gang. Shout out to Raul P, William Perry, Cruz Ruiz, Shake Money, and last but certainly not least, the homie Chef Jew. They're the ones who are members. You can join the membership by clicking on the $sign below from either a laptop or an iPad. And just clicking that link and becoming a member. Becoming a member means you support the channel monthly through financial donations, and it helps the channel grow, man. What I'm trying to do is bring you guys some cool content. I'll be going down to training camp in the next week or so. Hopefully I can get down there maybe a little bit sooner, just to give you guys some coverage, man. Give you guys, some stuff that I'm seeing. As a previous football coach, previous football guy, I played collegiately, played in high school, played in college, coached for 10 years. So there's a lot that I can see as well in terms of trench play, where guys are lining up, if they're making plays, if they're not making plays, things like that. So shout out to everybody in the chat so far. We got 7 in the building. Hit the like on your way in. Shout out to the homie Shake Money in the building. He says, what's good, CB83? Hey, throw them fins up. Throw them fins up, man. Throw them fins up. The homie Q's in here, my oos, with another banger. You already know what time it is. What's good with you, oos? My man Dre is in the building, says, what's good? What's up? Whole lot of Wolfgang shit. Whole lot of Wolfgang, Puck Gang, Wolfgang, Puck Gang shit. You already know what time it is, man. Hey, Tyreek slap video came out. It was a murder. No, not a murder. Dre, you gotta stop, yo. H, what's good with you, man? Shout out to you. My man H says, I couldn't believe the viciousness of the Tyreek slap. Man, stop playing. The Tyreek slap did not come out. Did it really come out? Y'all are messing with me. Stop playing, man. Stop playing. So getting into it, man, I want to get right to it. I'm actually going to pull up this article from I'm going to say the homie. It did come out? Yo, somebody send it to me. I got to show it. Let's see. Y'all are playing. No way. It really came out? No. Let's see. Let's see. Man, stop playing, man. Did this slap video really come out? Man, I don't see no slap video, man. Stop playing with me, man. Somebody got to send it to me. Oh, it says check. He says check Andy Slater on Twitter. He said laugh out loud is definitely out. Oh man, I gotta go see this. Oh man, it really came out. Is it vicious? Is it a murder? What is it? Oh man, y'all got me looking for this now. I can't even focus on the show. Oh sheesh. We got action, boss. Hey, let's go ahead and share this real quick. Yikes. Stop screen share on that. Present this. Oh man. He said it's all over Twitter. I'm reacting to it. This is my first time seeing it the same way you guys are seeing it. I find this pretty hilarious that the video is out. That is wild. All right, this is it. Supposedly, this it. Give me the thumbs up if this is it. I don't want to be showing the wrong video now. He said, "Oh my God, he killed that man." He said, "Put the kids to bed before you show it." Oh man, let's see what he got. All right, here we go. Is there any audio on it? Probably not. Where is the slap at? Okay, I see Tyreek right there. He hot. Oh no, that ain't it. Stop playing. That ain't it. Yo, y'all is not playing with me. That is not the slap where he walked by the guy and like slapped him in the back of the head. Hold up. Is this it right here? That one right there? That's the slap? Nah, y'all ain't playing with me, bro. Y'all, hey, y'all ain't playing with me. That's not the snap. That's not it. Please tell me that's not it. I thought y'all trolling me. Please tell me y'all ain't trolling me, man. Come on, that's it? That's the slap? Nah, that can't be it. We gotta run that one back. Damn, bro was really hot, boy. He had a lot of people down there at the dock now. He did have a lot of people down there. Came out here. I guess he was upset. Pop. He just gave him a little pop pop in the back of the head. Nothing crazy. Dang, hey, I don't know who the light skinned chick is, but she was ready to scrap Tyreek. She ain't want him to pop. Oh, he just hit him with a little fast hands. Yo. Rig with the quick ones, hit him with the pop pop. Hey, he didn't even know what happened. That's wild. If that's the video y'all talking about, man, stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me, man. Let me get to this camp coverage. My man Filthy Cat says, I called it weeks ago when TMZ didn't leak it. I said the video probably didn't show anything crazy. Obviously not. I just showed the video. That is not the slap. Honestly, that's the slap I thought it was, but just it came out and confirmed what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like a pop pop to the back of the head. Like that's what I said the whole time. You're not finna open hand really smack somebody in the back of the head. So that's crazy. Yeah. So I don't think he's getting suspended for that. Can we come to the conclusion that Roger Goodell isn't gonna suspend him as a result of that? The DA came out. Canes, what's good with you? So the DA or the state attorney came out and said they're not pressing charges, right? The video comes out. We see it was a little two-piece to the back of the head, right? Not even a two-piece, a little bop to the back of the head. Caught Buddy off guard, too. I just want to show it one more time. because it definitely caught him off guard. He was like, man, I ain't even do nothing. It was kind of like that type of incident where he was like, man, I'm just walking over here. I really didn't even do nothing. Let me see. Let me get back to it real quick. So here we go. Let's pull on that right now. Right. So the let me hit it back right here. So the dude's walking out like he don't even really. It don't even seem like he really know what's going on. He just seemed like he just a casualty of being in the area. Just walking out. Got him. That's crazy. So I don't know if he said something to Tyreek earlier or what, but he must have said something to Tyreek earlier that really pissed him off. Hey, shout out to the homie Dre who becomes one of the new members. Shout out to you, Dre. You in the gang now, man. Hey, it's the Fab Six now, man. It's no longer the Fab Five, it's the Fab Six. Dre's in the member gang. Shout out to the homies and Andravia. Hey, when I come down to Miami, we kicking it. We getting some of that Kirkland, bourbon, some of that Kirkland whiskey. We gonna pull up. You already know what time it is, man. Shout out to the homie Dre for becoming a new member of the family. So as you can see here, this is not what we thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be something like this. This dude he's like, man, I didn't even do anything, man. Watch the dude after Tyreek hits him. He's just probably talking to him like, hey guys, what Bap got him. Right? He's like, man, what? Man, I didn't even do anything. That's crazy. Then you see the chick right here at the bottom. Yo, this chick she's like, nah, you ain't about to try to fight these dudes. This must be one of Tyreek's significant others or something like that. Because she really don't want him to get in trouble. She hit him with the mean block right there. She hit him with a nice little block. He hit them with the spin move. Bang, bang. She's right there to provide that contact right in his chest. She was perfect. That's perfect form right there. That's perfect. Bam. Hit him with the forearm, and then she shuffled the feet and get back in front. She's a winner, man. Tyreek, you got you a good one. She was really trying to keep you from fighting, bro. She was really trying to keep you from fighting. I think she was probably one of the most athletic people at the dock that day. Watch her now. She's like, look at the angle she's playing. She already know what time it is, right? She walking fast too. Look, watch the angle. She walking fast. She know the angle. She knows where he's at. She knows he about to hit the spin move. He hits the spin move. She hit him right in the chest. Bang. Nah, bro. And then when she hits him with the spin move, because big buddy right here, supposed to be holding him back. Older buddy, this must be uncle or somebody. Uncle's supposed to be holding him back. This auntie or mom, this might be mom or dad, right? And then they supposed to be holding him back, but Shorty hit him with the bop, nope. And then watch her shuffle the feet. Bang. And get back in front once they pick up the slack. That's what I'm talking about. She a winner. She a keeper, man. She a keeper, bro. Hey, I don't know if that's cuz or what, but she did her job. She kept him. Hey, that's all I can do. Hey, that's that press coverage. That's exactly what that was. She looked like she had lined up before. She hit him with the and then got back. Nice little back pedal. Sign her up, bro. She might be one of them flag football joints, bro. The flag football, them girls who be playing. Hey, she might be able to play the right guard spot. Maybe she could play the left side where Liam at. Jump in there. Hey, she hit him with a nice little get out of there. She hit him with that. Yeah. Hey, yeah. She hit him with a nice little Hey, you already know what time it is, man. She was like that. She's like that. I like that. But man, let's get into this. Man, where was the report at? I just had it up. Man, y'all got me off track with the video. Jeez, I didn't know the video was out. Good call on that, Dre. Good call on that. I thought you was being sarcastic at first, but when I realized you were serious, I had to go check it out. Salute to the homie Canes. We can use her on the O line, bro. She might be able to give she might be able to give us a little something. She sink that buck down a little bit, dig in, get that chest back. She might be all right, boy. Looking like Rob Hunt out there. Looking like Rob Hunt. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to this article, man. I wanted to share this. This is the article I want to look at. Takeaway from days one. Hey, Q said I'm done. Hey, might be able to. Hey, she might be able to do a little something, huh? Hey, the way she held off Tyreek was impressive. The way she held off Tyreek was impressive. I don't think Tyreek was really trying to get back there, but she looked like that. If he really was, she would have sank them hips on his ass and kick, shuffle, get your ass out the club type move. She might have got him. All right, so this is a story by Omar Kelly. His 5 takeaways from day one of Dolphins training camp. He says, here's the lasting impression of the Miami Dolphins made on Omar Kelly during day one of training camp. So he wrote this an hour ago. So literally kind of hot off the press. I like reading some of these articles because it gives us some insight into what's going on at training camp. Now, Omar Kelly is one thing. The one thing I do like about Omar Kelly, his stuff is free. It's not behind a paywall. You ain't got to worry about it, right? You can go look at it. Barry Jackson, other guys are behind a paywall. You got to pay for it. I don't be feeling like paying for all these subscriptions. Sometimes I'll go do it. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll try to get around it. It's not that serious to me. I'm just trying to get a gist of, what guys are seeing at training camp. Obviously, there's a lot of different beat writers out there, a few different guys, right? I follow them on Twitter. You can go to their Twitter and find out information about them as well, right? Omar Kelly says it's important to give the people what they want. And to my surprise, the Miami Dolphins did exactly that right out the gate during the first day of the training camp. Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, Miami's 2 elite cornerbacks, didn't have their reps limited on day one. So what that means is that those guys were ready to go, right? Those guys came out and went full reps. They got after it. They won. And that's what I like to see. Continuing on, he says both Pro Bowl performers were full participants and typically lined up against the offense's marquee players, covering Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Iron versus iron, right? And we talk about that a lot. I say that a lot because I understand that in order for these guys to get better, they need to be practicing against each other, putting themselves in difficult situations, because that's going to help them come Sunday, right? That's going to help them come Sunday. Practice should be difficult, right? King Mill, what's good with you? I see you, bro. Ian Baller, I see you. Raph, I see you. What's good with you? So practice should be difficult. It shouldn't be easy, right? We want practice to be difficult because when we go out there on Sundays, we want the game to be easy. Not like easy cake, walking the park, cakewalk, but we want it to be easier than practice. So we want these guys really lined up against each other, really focused on making sure they challenge each other and make it difficult for one another. Should be competitive, right? That competitive atmosphere breeds great results, right? And when I was coaching, I would go out there and fire up the defense on purpose before I even got to my guys. And my guys are like, yo, coach, why are you getting after them? Why are you firing? Because it's going to make you guys better. So I would go out there and get after the D-line. Oh, we going to murk y'all today. We about to get after it. Y'all ain't ready for what we got coming. Calvin said he going to smack you in the face, defensive end. The center said he going to take care of you, defensive tackle. I'm getting all in their head before that. And my players said absolutely none of that. But I know that's what it's going to take to bring up. It's going to elevate the level of play at practice. So that's why I focus on that. That's why I put emphasis on that, because it's only going to make them better. Okay. So continuing on, he says, when asked his level of interest in seeing Howard versus Ramsey and Waddle, Coach McDaniel said, have you seen their collective paychecks? Right. He's basically saying, yo, them dudes get paid. Of course, I want to see them dudes play against each other. Right. He says, well, the battle didn't disappoint on day one. Howard had one major pass breakup on a pass to Hill, who seemed a bit off his game, in my humble opinion. So Omar basically said that Tyreek seemed kind of off today. Maybe it was the jitters with the situation. Maybe he knew the video was coming out. That could be the case, right? If his lawyer is telling him, hey, we're going to put the video out today, it's probably going to be, it's going to take a little bit of heat. You know, you're going to take a little bit of heat with the situation. You got to be humble about it. Then he might have been off mentally as a result of that, right? You got to keep that stuff in mind. So that's the first observation I made from day one of the Miami Dolphins training camp. And here's the rest of my list. So the first one was that he felt like Tyreek Hill was kind of off his game, in that the guys did step up and play versus each other, right? So number two, he said Dolphins need inside linebacker help. So watching 5 inside linebackers line up to do position drills is a daily reminder that Miami's one inside linebacker short, because Zeke Vanderbilt being placed on injured reserve with an undisclosed injury last week. So what he's saying is there's 5 guys, right? 5, he goes on to say 5 inside linebackers means the Dolphins don't have enough to at least, the Dolphins don't have enough to run 3 defensive units, and that someone will be taking extra snaps unless Andrew Van Ginkel is moved inside full time. So what I want you guys to understand about this is that they're running 3 defensive units. So a B unit, and a C unit. If you're running 3 defensive units and you have 5 guys, you're missing a guy in that third group. That means either a guy from A or either a guy from B's got to make up those reps, right? So that means they only have 5 guys, and they usually need 6 for all 3 units. So they're missing a guy. So somebody's got to double up. So he goes on to say David Long Jr. and Channing Tindall finally got into action at linebacker today after missing most of the offseason program nursing injuries. That was encouraging. But the way Miami was running the ball effectively on day one raised my level of concern. And that's typically Omar. When it comes to running the ball, he's really concerned about the defense getting ran on. And he's concerned about, hey, can the offensive line run the ball effectively? Right? That's typically his concern. He's looking in the trenches a lot, which I do like about him, right? He's seeing if we can run the ball or seeing if the defense can stop the run, because he knows that ultimately that's a big determination of how good the team will be, whether they can run the ball or stop the run. He goes on to say, while this might not seem like an issue right now, it will become one when someone gets injured, and it could lead to early wear and tear. That's why I'd be shocked if General Manager Chris Greer isn't shopping for an inside linebacker as you read this. So basically saying, hey, if Chris Greer isn't on the phones right now, I would be surprised, because it seems like we are stretched thin at inside linebacker. We've all known this, right? This is not new to us. We've been talking about Reuben Foster, Quan Alexander. We've been talking about a number of different guys. Will he bring in one of those guys? Hey, I really do hope so, because it's only going to give us more depth, right? And if we bring in one of those guys, maybe one of those guys can step in and be on the B team or on the A team and shock us, right? So that could be the case. Now, moving on to number 3, his third takeaway from the day. This is Omar Kelly. He says, Teron Armstead and Isaiah Wynns undergo grueling rehab. He said Armstead and Wynn began camp on injured reserve. Armstead had his right knee scoped, according to McDaniel, which means he'll probably spend the first couple weeks of training camp on a rehabilitation assignment. The way the trainers were working Armstead and Wynn, whose injury hasn't been disclosed, they'd probably rather be practicing than grinding on the side. It was an aggressive workout, one meant to get the fat boys in football shape. So, Teron Armstead and Wynn on the sideline. Teron Armstead underwent like a knee scoping, should be back in a couple weeks. Wynn, we don't know what his injury is. Supposedly, he hurt himself training, trying to get in shape for getting back to camp. That's what was disclosed. Omar goes on to say, I'm keeping a close eye on which offensive tackles raise their hand, attempting to inherit the work Armstead is missing. And Kendall Lamb, delivered a jaw-dropping performance on day one. Lamb has started 29 games in his 8-year career, which means he's not a newbie, right? And this might be his last opportunity to get off the journeyman train. So, good opportunity there. Kendall Lamb stepping up in the absence of Armstead is a plus, right? We'll see how that ends up. Skylar Thompson shouldn't be overlooked. This would excite guys like Pete and all the other guys out there in the community who love Skylar, right? So Skylar shouldn't be overlooked. Let's take a look at what he has to say about Skylar. So he goes on to say, I've hinted at this all offseason, but it seems as if we officially have a battle brewing for the number 2 quarterback role. These quarterbacks are rotating and playing with different units, which means they have different O-lines and different weaponry during various team periods. But it seems as if Thompson has a legitimate chance of holding off Mike White as Miami's number 2 quarterback. Expect this battle to clarify itself in the exhibition season when Thompson and White handle the majority of the snaps during Miami's 3 preseason games. For those coming to practice, I encourage you to pay close attention when Tua Tagovailoa's reps are done. So basically saying that, hey, there could be a battle brewing for the number 2 quarterback spot, but let's not put a lot of stock into it because we're really going to see who's playing well when it comes to preseason games, right? Skylar had a really good preseason last year. If he can continue to do that this year, maybe he jumps Mike White as the number 2 quarterback. I don't think that's the case. I think Mike White was brought here at $8 million a year to play number 2 quarterback, right? I think they saw something in him and said, hey, we're willing to take a chance on you, spend the money, bring you here because we know you can be the number 2, right? So that's something to keep our eyes on. Number 5, fifth takeaway says Connor Williams return beefs up O-line. So Omar goes on to say, I begin this offseason saying the Miami Dolphins should have extended Williams and still stand on that opinion based on his performance last season. Made me conclude he should be the player this O-line is built around. So Omar is saying that, hey, Connor Williams is the guy you should be building around, right? Obviously, plenty of that comes down to his asking price. But seeing Williams move people during the first practice reminds me of his upside. Can you imagine if this 26-year-old takes another step forward as a center, right? So he's 26 years old, still fairly young, right? Omar saying, imagine if he takes his game to the next level and becomes really like a Pro Bowl player, right? Omar goes on to say the top 6 centers in the NFL all clear $10.5 million in take-home salary this upcoming season, and that's likely the salary stratosphere for Williams. Williams wants to enter. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm putting an offer that features $22 million in guaranteed money on the table and seeing if we can get a deal done. Miami's invested of time and money in Williams shouldn't be cut short. I think he meant Miami's investment. Now, he goes on to say, keep in mind that Williams, Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson, Isaiah Wynn, Robert Jones, and Dan Feeney are all going to be unrestricted free agents after this season. Also, it would be a stretch to call Armstead foundational piece, considering how often he's injured and the fact that he just turned 32. So exactly who is the offensive line being built around? Good question. Good question. So that's the end of the article, but I think Omar Kelly touches on some really good points there. Connor Williams doing his job, doing what he's supposed to do, protecting QB1, communicating in the middle. Skylar doing his thing. Maybe he takes the number 2 spot. Maybe he doesn't. Teron Armstead and Wynn going through grueling rehab to get back, right? Dolphins need inside linebacker help. We've already known that. That's kind of been the gist of the offseason. Are we going to bring somebody in? Are we going to wait? Maybe they do it sooner than later now because they don't have enough guys to fill out the units and guys are getting extra reps. But typically that's always going to be the case. There's always going to be units where guys are going to have to get extra reps, right? Um, and then number one, he was talking about Xavier Howard Ramsey versus Tyreek and Waddle, and that iron versus iron, and just Tyreek, maybe having an off day. So those are some of the tidbits from day one of training camp. I do want to go over one more thing prior to um, getting back, to us talking and engaging. I see everybody in the chat. I see the homie Mr. Miami, King Mill, Raph, hit the like for your boy. I appreciate the homie Andrevius becoming a member. My members gang, welcome Andrevius to the members gang. Shout out to you, Dre, for holding that down. Now we have 6 members to the YouTube channel. Hey, it is hot. It's hot everywhere. It is hot everywhere. It's definitely hot up here in Central Florida. My man King Mill says, CB, is there a way we can get Zach Martin from the Cowboys? Man, maybe we trade Cedric Wilson back to him. Or maybe we give him Mostert, but we got to pick up. We need to pick up a guy. Like, we need to pick up a running back. We need to pick up a linebacker. So we still need to pick up some guys. J.R. Black says, Omar Kelly is from my school of thought. He only focuses on the O-line. Take his opinion on O-line to heart. For years, been on point when it comes to O-line. And I think for the most part, you're right. I think Omar does a really good job with the offensive line. But he really just killed me when he came out with the Jesse Davis was our best O-lineman take. That was probably the worst take. And it didn't age well because he ended up getting Tua killed and he ended up being cut and he had to move on. So Jesse Davis was not that dude. And I typically do agree with Omar, though, in terms of O-line and just, watching what he's watching. So one more thing I wanted to go over, his stock report for day one. And I like to look at these stock reports because it tells you which players are playing well and which players are struggling, right? And this is something we need to be looking at, because when it comes down to it, we want to see guys stack up really good plays, right? And really good days, right? I know guys aren't going to have a good day every day at camp. It's just not possible, right? But we want these guys to stack up the good days so they just compound on top of each other, right? Have good days, stack them up, and then when it comes to the season, you're playing well. That's typically what happens. If you're stacking up bad days, you won't be playing much. That's just the nature of the game. So this article is written by Omar Kelly 4 hours ago. Stock report day one. Top play of the day. And I know you guys saw this play on Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. I'm sure you saw it. If you haven't seen it, go to Miami Dolphins Instagram page. You'll see it there. It says top play of the day, Tua Tagovailoa's. Before I read that, let me read the first part. It says the first day of training camp featured a short, non-padded practice that had a decent amount of action to it. Nothing special, but there were a couple highlight-worthy moments. Top play of the day, Tua Tagovailoa's 40-yard completion to Jalen Waddle, who initially bobbled the ball but brought it in for the reception. Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott were the defensive backs on the play. This seems like it's a 1-versus-1 situation. Deshaun Elliott, Javon Holland, Waddle in the game, Tua throwing him the ball. So it must have been kind of one-on-ones, good versus goods. So he says Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott were the defensive backs on the play, which makes me conclude Miami was in some type of zone coverage. The ball wasn't perfectly thrown. It was a fluttering, but it got where it needed to be. Jalen Phillips had a good rush on that play, but Kendall Lamb stonewalled him, giving Tua time to release the ball. Nice. Runner-up for play of the day, Xavier Howard breaking up a pass from Tua Tagovailoa that was intended for Tyreek Hill. The defense celebrated as if it were a turnover. Bring your popcorn for these daily battles. Love to see it, man. I love to see it. I love to hear about it because that's going to be important, man. We want to hear about those guys getting after it. Top performer from day one, drum roll please, offensive tackle Kendall Lamb. So if you told me Kendall Lamb was Teron Armstead and I didn't know better, I would have believed you based on day one. Lamb, who the Dolphins signed to a one-year deal worth $1.16 million this offseason, which includes a $100,000 signing bonus and a guarantee of $100,000, repeatedly stonewalled Miami's top pass rushers on one-on-one during team sessions. There's a possibility that Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb took their feet off the gas a little at the end of rushes because this wasn't a padded practice. But Lamb impressed me on the first day. Solid, solid. And what you guys got to understand about these practices is they're not padded yet. So guys are going to go full go, but they don't want to get themselves into a situation where they're hurting each other, right? That's not what they want to do. What's good, G? What's up with you? So they don't want to hurt each other. So they're always going to gear it down towards the end of plays because they don't want to go too hard and end up hurting somebody. At this point in the season, everybody's trying to get reps. You're trying to get a good rush, and then you're trying to back off, right? Because you don't want to go too hard and hurt anybody. So keep that in mind. And that's why he's saying, hey, take it with a grain of salt. They're not in pads. So we'll see once they pad up. Number 2, stock up, guys. Tailback Savon Ahmed, right? Savon Ahmed, the forgotten man of the Miami Dolphins backfield, delivered a couple of chunk runs in his limited opportunities, as it was clearly a reminder that he shouldn't be forgotten or overlooked. Ahmed often flashes during these non-padded practices, so this isn't a surprise. If he continues to run with force when the pads come on, then we could potentially see him push for playing time and solidify his spot on the 53-man roster. Wow. So Savon Ahmed getting some time, getting some opportunities, and using it to his advantage. No Dalvin in the building yet. No Josh Jacobs, no Saquon. You're going to get opportunities, right? It's really back up for grabs back there. You got Jeff Wilson, Gaskins, Ahmed, and Mostert. Who's going to emerge as a guy? Fullback Alec Ingold, stock up, guys, right? So he's the third one. Says Ingold was effective catching passes, and he had a number of forceful blocks, which included one where he stood up Chubb, preventing the pass rush from producing a would-be sack on Tua Tagovailoa. Ingo had a strong end of minicamp showing, and the way he's been standing up defenders up, he hints he could have a larger role in the offense. And honestly, Ingo had a huge role last year, so I expect that. I just need him to stay healthy because I know without him, our offense will struggle, right? It's just because of the scheme and the way Mike McDaniel draws up plays. Now, what I'd like to see Mike McDaniel do is come up with an alternative to when he's not in the game, because we've seen what happened when he went down last year. We just struggled moving the football. That was late in the season. He had an injury, and he didn't really get as many reps as he was used to getting. So the offensive line kind of took a hit. The run game took a hit, and as a result of that, we struggled. So Omar goes on to have one stock down guy. He says, I keep waiting for Channing Tindall, a 2022 third-round selection, to make plays that shows there's some upside. But it's been a long wait because there are only 5 inside linebackers on the roster. He got plenty of opportunities to impress on day one. And the only thing that stood out to me was how slow his reaction time was and how many false steps he took. One of my contemporaries made an excellent point about Tindall that I'd love to take credit for, but can't. He said if Tindall were drafted 3 rounds lower, he wouldn't still be on the roster. The former Georgia star needs to pick it up. And that's what I'm hoping, man. He's got to work his way into the rotation. Hopefully he's a guy we can depend on. We shall see, right? We shall see. Now, yeah, and it's tough because we really want Tindall to step up and become a guy. It just seems like he's maybe thinking too much, or he's just reading it a little bit too slow. I heard he was taking a lot of false steps. And when you're taking a lot of false steps, you're taking false steps because you think you're saying one thing, but it's actually something different. So you're just putting yourself in a bad predicament, right? Now, a couple camp notes and topics I wanted to address really quickly. So we know about Armstead and Wynn. They're on the pup, right? We know Armstead had his knee scoped. We know Wynn injured himself training for training camp, right? That's the situation there. Now, Mike McDaniel goes on to say that it's really not a big negative because he gets an opportunity to see some other guys step up, like Kendall Lambs of the world, right? Maybe Dan Feeney or Liam Eichenberg step in some roles and play, right? So McDaniel says it's not a big negative, and that's what he says at his press conference. Now, some other tidbits from Mike McDaniel's press conference. He goes on to say that him and Greer are like a good cop, bad cop situation, right? When it comes to players, he says he's the bad cop, or he says he's the good cop, and Chris Greer is the bad cop. And that's because of the money situation. So when we look at the Connor situation, Chris Greer has to be the guy like, hey, we can't afford to pay you this right now. We'd like for you to come in and participate, but we just got to have you come in so we can figure it out, right? So Mike McDaniel is going to go play good cop behind him and say, hey, he's going to rub his back, get on the phone with him, communicate via text. Hey, we really need you here. We really want you in camp. We know we can't do this without you. So Mike McDaniel just kind of hits at that good cop, bad cop relationship in terms of players when it comes to their money situations. So that's key. And I'm glad he puts it like that. And when it comes to head coaching too, like there's a good cop, bad cop situation. The cool thing about Mike McDaniel and this whole situation and the whole scheme of coaching is that he kind of gets to play the good cop all the time, right? So he kind of gets to play the good cop all the time, which is cool, right? For him, because he's a cool, charismatic guy. He's like, yo, I want to build a relationship with you. I want you to be one of my guys. I want you to run through a wall for me. I care about you as a person, not just as a football player, right? So he gets to do that. Chris Greer doesn't get to be that guy all the time. He has to be the bad guy and talk to him about the numbers and say, hey, we can't pay you. So it's cool. You see the dynamic of the good cop, bad cop. When it comes to assistant coaches are the bad cops. They are. They see their guys every day. They're in their units. They're grinding with them, right? So the players are looking at their assistant coaches or their position coaches like, man, you suck. Like, you really suck balls, right? Because they're pushing them so hard, they really want to get the best out of them. And then Mike McDaniel gets to come behind them and be the good cop, or Fangio gets to come behind the position coaches and be the good cop. And that's the dynamic of that relationship of how players can still play for a guy and push hard, even though they're being pushed by other guys on the staff, like by their position coaches, by their assistant coaches, by their coordinators, right? So you get to see the dynamic of the relationships and how the relationships play out. So I really like that he touched on that. And shout out to the homie G in the building, becomes a YouTube member. Shout out to you, G. G is the lucky number 7 member, man. Hey, I'm gonna get y'all boys some. Hey, y'all gonna get some numbers too. I'm gonna get y'all a jersey. Y'all gonna have numbers. Hey, you got that Mike Vick. My dog Dre got that 6. Hey, I'd love to see it, man. Shout out to the homie G for becoming a member. We got 2 members who joined today. We got G and we got my dude Andrevius, man. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the support. It helps, man. It really does help. I'm not even playing with y'all. It really does help. So shout out to you guys, right? So just kind of getting back to the notes. Where are my notes at real quick? All right, so good cop, bad cop, right? McDaniel also addresses sobriety, right? So McDaniel at one point was having issues with alcoholism, right? Supposedly he was an alcoholic. He had some issues with it. He's been sober for a long time now, longer period. Um, and at this point, he feels like these are lessons he's learned, and it's made him a better person, right? Um, and I can understand how that would be the case because really in life, you really don't take a lot of L's, right? I don't consider life as taking L's. Like you're gonna learn a lot from the lessons that some of these conflicts provide. Um, but it helps you as a person. It helps you become the person you are today. So in his press conference, McDaniel addresses sobriety, and he says that he really tries not to worry about things that he can't control because it really there's no point in being anxious about it or having anxiety about things he can't control, whether it comes to contracts or players or I mean, it's really not up to him. All he could do is make suggestions, and if it happens, it happens, right? If not, hey, we continue on. We keep pushing, right? So he addresses that. I like that he touched on that. He also McDaniel touched on the 5-game skid last year. Now, a lot of you guys talk about December and us losing 5 games straight and struggling to get into the playoffs, Tua being injured, so and so, right? There's a lot to, digest there, breakdown. Now, during the 5-game skid, he mentions that players typically respond to genuine intent. And when he says genuine intent, he means like players respond to people who are really genuine and that really are trying to put their best interests or have their best interests in mind, right? So he mentions that. He says that, losing those games last year really brought the guys closer together, right? And it did. It brought the guys closer together. And in the end, right, down the stretch, they end up winning the game to get into the playoffs. And they end up going on the road to play Buffalo down the stretch. And they knew they could have won that game. They knew there was a couple plays here or there that cost them that game. And it's going to make this team better in year 2. So that's what I want you guys to understand is that, the 5-game stretch this year where we lost games and that we struggled, where we lost players, might have been the best thing for this team, right? Might have been the best thing for this team because this year they're going to come back. They're still going to have that on their minds, how that felt, how they responded to that. So that could be a really good situation for where we are as a team, especially late in the season if we're facing adversity, just being able to bounce back from that because that's going to be important. It's going to be important. So yeah, wanted to touch on that. Another thing McDaniel mentions in his presser, he mentions Tua having a tremendous offseason and really owning the language, right? So owning the language and learning the offense. Now, McDaniel touches on some really good stuff during his press conference. He does. And if you guys don't watch his press conferences, go back and watch them. Take notes. He says some really good things and he kind of tells you exactly how he looks at things, right? So he said Tua had a tremendous offseason. He's owning the language for the playbook. He knows the language now. Now, my thing is, if you're mastering the language, right, you can teach it. So if Tua really understands this language of the offense, then you can teach the other guys. You could teach Mike White. You can teach Skyler. You can get everybody lined up. You can get everybody's hots and what they're supposed to do. The option routes and where they're supposed to go. I think that's going to be important. I think that's going to be really, really important. So he touches on that as well. Now, according to Tyreek, right? We showed the video of Tyreek, right? Slapping the guy upside the head. So Tyreek said it was a boneheaded decision on his part, a boneheaded situation to put himself in, right? He says he can't afford to put himself in situations like that. And McDaniel goes on to say that it's still an ongoing situation. So the NFL is still kind of yet to decide on what they're going to do. Do I think Tyreek gets suspended for that? No, I don't think Tyreek gets suspended for it. I don't think that's going to be the case, right? And we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But you guys saw the video. It was a little slap on the back of the head. Buddy didn't even realize he got slapped until Tyreek was walking away. He was like, "Dang, man, why you hit me in the back of the head?" Right? It's crazy. Another tidbit. So McDaniel touched on the offseason a little bit. And he said the offseason is a great time for him because he can put the scheme together based on what his guys did well during the season, right? And this was important to me because as a coach, right, you're looking at you're looking at what your guys do well and you're trying to figure out how you can make it better next year, right? Now, in year one, right, for Mike McDaniel, he's coming into it blind. He doesn't know what these guys do well, but he's putting together a scheme and he's hoping these guys can play well within that scheme, right? So after you go through the season and you look back on the film and you analyze it, right? And another tidbit that I got from this, really quick pause, was that Mike McDaniel he lives at the facility, right? Tua said Mike McDaniel is usually there till like 2:00 in the morning. That is crazy, bro. That is crazy. And God bless his wife and his daughter, because I know during the season he spends a lot of time in the office watching film, dissecting defenses, dissecting the offense, and trying to figure out the best way to attack teams. But that was just a little tidbit I heard from Tua in his interview, just saying, hey, Mike McDaniels, he's always here. He's here till 2 a.m. in the morning all the time, which is crazy. And I love a guy who's in the lab like that. You got to love a guy who is passionate about what he's doing and just really wants to get the best out of his players, out of his guys. So Mike McDaniel said, hey, in the first offseason, where I'm coming into being a head coach, I put the scheme together, but I don't really know what these guys can do well, right? I'm just going to give them the plays, hey, see how they handle them, and go from there. Now in year two, right, I can base the information I put into the scheme off what I see on film and what these guys could do well. Like what Tyreek, what Waddle, what the running backs can do well, what the offensive line can do well, right? So a lot of that is analyzing, hey, what happened in year one and how can we be better in year two? How can I put this together to be better in year two? I think that's going to be crucial. And don't take that for granted, because you really don't know the guys coming into this, right? You don't know the guys coming into it. You just know, hey, these are the plays I like to run. But in year two, you kind of know the guys. They know the system. You know what they could do well, what they don't do well, and it ends up working in your favor. My man, Let's Go Niners in the building. He says, wasn't there a coach that came out and said, if his staff is there late at night, they are not doing their job right? He said, football isn't that hard. I remember there was somebody who said that, but you have to take some of these people's words with a grain of salt. And is that a head coach saying that about his assistant, or is that somebody else saying that about a head coach? I think a head coach who puts the work in, who's grinding, who's in the office, doing what they're supposed to do, spending their time, it's going to pay off, right? Hard work pays off. Hard work and dedication, right? Shout out to the homie Dolphins Thirsty, man. Phins up, guys. He says Phins up, guys. Hey, shout out to him. Go follow his channel. He does some good content over there. Look, the Phins tailgate is in the building with the poopy emoji. How cute. How cute, Cap. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, that may have been Bruce Arians that said that, but Bruce Arians, where is he at now? And I think he was saying that in terms of guys being away from their families, right? If he's the head coaches should be the one that are there. Honestly, though, they're carrying all the responsibility. They're the ones responsible for the team, the game plan, the practice schedule, the travel schedule, everything. So they should be there putting the work in. He was saying if his assistants are there for long periods of time, then they aren't doing their job right, because football isn't that hard. That's what they're saying. Yeah, man. No problem, Dolphins Thirsty. Appreciate you coming through, man. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Hey, you guys do me a favor, hit the like button. Shout out to the new members in the building. The homie Andravia Shaw becomes YouTube member number 6 gang. And G becomes YouTube member number 7. Lucky number 7. 7 gang. Yes, sir. So appreciate y'all, boys. Appreciate the love and support. Everybody in here, appreciate y'all coming through. A couple more things and I'm gonna wrap it up. Tua's tattoo. This has been kind of an ongoing theme. I know you guys have seen it. If not, I think the tattoo looks really good. The detail is on point. He talks about it in the interview. He touches on it. He said it represents his first child, and it has a lot of cultural significance, right? A lot of cultural significance. And keep in mind that Tua's about to have a second child. And he said that the sleeve kind of started off on his chest, and then he just kind of took it all the way down the sleeve, and now it's a full sleeve all the way down to his wrist. So that was pretty cool for him to talk about it, let people know the significance of it. I'm sure there's a lot of meanings to the tattoo in Samoan culture, whether it's, prosperity or respect for family or, something like that. There's a bunch of different significances to it in terms of the details of the tattoo. And if you guys haven't seen it, be sure to check it out. Now, also, when it comes to Tua, he says this offense can be dangerous. That's what he says. He says this offense can be dangerous. And Q adds to that. Q says it's like a coming of age, which is cool, man. I like it. Almost like, becoming a man, becoming a warrior. Love the thought of that. So that's kind of significance of the tattoo. Appreciate that insight, Q. That's the homie Q. He's one of my ooses. He's Samoan as well. So appreciate you, Q. So Tua thinks the offense can be dangerous. He said, God willing, everyone stays healthy, and bro, they go out there and ball. And that's what it's about at this point. God willing, everybody stays healthy. We get it done and get Tyreek into the Hall of Fame as a Dolphin, because he said he wants to go into the Hall of Fame as a Miami Dolphin. I'd love to see it. Honestly, if he goes and gets a Super Bowl with us, he will go into the Hall as a Dolphin, right? He's going to have his best years here in Miami. He's already kind of broke his single season record for receiving. And next year, he'll break the 2K mark. We'll go on to win the Super Bowl. And he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a Dolphin, man, because it really is one of the most dynamic players the NFL has ever seen. So one of the most dynamic players the NFL has ever seen. He'll be a first ballot guy, straight dog, right? Straight dog. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. I'm right at the hour mark, kind of right on point where I wanted to be. This was kind of perfect timing. I appreciate you guys letting me know about the Tyreek Hill slap video. If you guys haven't seen that, be sure to go check that out on Twitter. If you guys don't, follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Where else am I at? No, just Twitter and Instagram. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Phins Take with CB83. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys coming out. Like I said, every day I'm dropping videos. Be sure to turn on notifications. It may be early in the day. It may be late at night. I may come back again tonight if something breaks. Just be sure to turn on notifications. Like I said, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to the new members in the community, the homie G and the homie Andravia Shaw. Get it cracking for them one time. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys joining the membership. We got to give you one more. Hey, yes, sir. Appreciate you guys, man. Hey, we all gonna be walking into the stadium like. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you guys coming through, man. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to the member gang. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see y'all, man. Q, let's go. Niners, Dolphins, Thirsty, Raph, Mr. Miami, G, Ken Sean, what's good? He says CB83, Bahamas represented 242, slapping the Bills in the back of the head. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ken Sean, my wife is Bahamian and Jamaican. I'm in Nassau all the time. I got family there. My family has businesses there. We got to talk, man. I'm going to be down there soon to check out the Bahamas. I love the Bahamas. I love Nassau. The homie G is in here. G's the homie. JR Black is in the building. He said CB83, 100% agree on it. Jeffy Davis, Omar take, way off. I agree, bro. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to King Mill, Irv, Chalk Von Straw, everybody who came through, man. Mudbone, Flavor J. I see you. I see everybody, man. I see everybody. H, Canes, Adam Sadowski, Filthy Cat 305, C Hoffel. Everybody's in the building. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I love my Phins community. Hey, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. Let's keep plugging away. Keep plugging away at your day. I'm going to keep plugging away at mine. You already know what time it is. It's Phins Take with CB83, and I'm out this.
Came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sold them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
Yo, I wasn't leaving that quick. The homie Irv became a member. Yes, sir, Irv. You already know what time it is. Bring it back. Run it back. Oh! Yes, sir. Appreciate the homie Irv coming through and dropping the lucky number 8. He's the Kobe. He's the Kobe of the group, man. The fam is growing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Run it back. One more again. Oh! Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all boys, man. Love y'all. Fins up. Hey, it's CB83 with another one. I'm out.
Came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sold them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.